So they sent me this spear to review, and I'm glad that I didn't pay for it. It's not a historical replica, it's inspired by a weapon from Dynasty Warriors. By the way, don't judge the entire store by what you're about to see. I reviewed a two-handed saber from Swords of Northshire before, and there was nothing wrong with that. It handled nicely and performed well. Seemed properly made overall. Unlike this. Not exactly a regular tatami cutter. Okay, in case you're wondering why I'm doing test cutting with a spear, well, frankly, spear is a bit of a misnomer for this. The two-pronged tip design wouldn't be great for thrusting, and the original design is worse in that regard. That's really just a cutting blade. And whether it be a spear or a different kind of polearm, it needs to be able to take some impact, like parrying other polearms and whatnot. Tatami cutting, on the other hand, is very light use, so I figured I'd start with that and then move on to harder tests. Well... Oh.
I haven't seen that happen before.
The grind is nice and smooth from the center to the edge, but the apex feels a little dull. Like you can probably see light reflecting off it.
I certainly can, and even if the camera can't, I can actually see the edge. It's about a millimeter.
Exactly,
like,
yeah. Also, for some reason I hadn't noticed before just how bad the mount is. Here, look at that.
Oh!
That is not fitted much at all.
It's
really.
not quite. Oh, there's the zoom now.
It just sticks
it's just
in.
in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's glue here.
I'd have some concern over that. Oh, yeah, that looks like hot glue.
Yeah, it does.
I am big concerned about that yeeting itself out.
Oh boy, I don't even know if I want to.
Swinging that seems like it's
It's just stuck in there, not being fitted very well. There's just glue there, which, I mean, there's also a pin. So that may not be a problem. I just don't.
I hope it goes into something.
Yeah, and then if you look at the shoulder here, that's a hard angle. It's not rounded off, so you can have stress fractures there.
This could actually just crack and the whole thing could go. In my blacksmithing days, hot glue is not a technique I generally used.
The good thing is, it's pretty far away from me. I would like to get it from this side too, so that the camera can see it better.
I'm gonna move over here. It cuts. How many cuts you'll get before the end flies off?
That's what you call an occupational hazard. And what I'm just noticing is, even though the thread seems pretty strong, I can already feel some give here. I don't know if you can see it, but I can definitely feel it.
It's wiggling.
I cannot turn it any more than that, but it's loose. That has already bent.
Yeah.
Bent and kind of slipped out of the thread a little bit. You know what? Screw this. Or unscrew this, rather.
Unscrew it.
I mean, the good thing is now I can end someone rightly. Okay. I mean, this would hurt. You know what?
That's a lot of pummel.
That's legit a pretty decent use, because this is still fairly heavy.
Yeah. It's got a point on the end, too.
It has a point.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely toss that at someone.
You would end them
or
rightly.
Or dual wield it.
Just bludgeon them.
This is heavy. Also, it's hella rusty. It's clean like this, by the way. Okay, let's see if this comes any better. Yep.
Yes.
This is better.
Yeah.
I trust this more, actually. Sorry. That works, at least. The edge alignment is very easy to mess up. It likes to kind of roll in my hands.
Yeah.
Let me try without gloves.
The
double, which equates to a regular tatami roll, and there is PVC pipe in there. Try to really hone in on this edge alignment here. Oh boy, this is difficult. This is actually the better part.
Yeah.
This is honestly the better weapon. I mean, okay, that's a bit harsh because it's still skewer something with this. I can't say I trust this all that much. Not to mention this is really heavy. Like even for a polearm, there's a lot of extra weight. The haft itself is quite heavy. Yeah, there it is. But it failed in a different spot from what I expected.
Yeah.
My goodness, look at that.
Womp womp.
This is one of the worst. The wooden peg broke and the wood also broke.
Well, I'm glad I didn't stand on the other end of it.
Yikes.
Well, now you've got a staff.
Yeet. Yeah, but the staff is just gonna break.
Well,
Good job, guys.
hey, that's like by far one of the worst weapons you've tested in a hot minute.
That may be the worst. How many swings was that? Like 5?
Yeah, like 5 or
maybe?
6, yeah. Just put more hot glue in, it's fine.
More hot glue. Wait, hang on a second. Am I seeing that right? Wow. In how many ways can this fail all at once? It's astonishing. They might as well just sell this. And even then, it said, I'm not particularly happy about all of this going on here. It's like the improper fit and the hot glue and the hard shoulder transition there. As they say in New York, it's a disaster. I guess you get what you pay for if the price is whoa.
What?
Alright, so what can we learn from this disaster? A few things. First off, the ability to disassemble a hafted weapon, while very convenient for shipping and transport, kind of destroys its usability, or at least reliability. Even if, in this case, it's a fairly thick metal sleeve, right? It's a stout-looking thread and all that. It's still threaded, so it just will not hold up. I have always been skeptical about that, but I was looking at this thinking, hey, that's pretty massive, right? That may actually kind of work. And no, it does not. It just still loosens up. The threads will wear out. They will, things will bend. It just doesn't really work out all that well. And of course, the drawback of that is you have to make the haft round. There's no other way around it if you want to give it a thread like this. I could imagine some ways to design a multi-piece haft that fits together, which can have a different kind of shape, you know, like rounded rectangular or square or some kind of shape with rounded corners that allows you to feel the edge alignment and be more effective when cutting. You would have to come up with some design that slides together and has maybe a spring-loaded button that locks in, or maybe just removable pins that allow you to do that. Like, it doesn't have to be a quick attachment and detachment, just something that allows you to punch out pins or what have you. It slides together and secures it. Now, the butt plate popping off was just funny because it added on top of the other major problems. It's not that big of a deal. I just wonder, how little glue did they use? I mean, if we look at this up close, there's hardly any glue residue I can see here. I would expect this to be slathered in epoxy if that's all that's holding it on. In fact, there's a little bit here, a little bit there. There's hardly any. So I don't know why they were expecting this to hold up. Now, I will say they fitted that sleeve or collar, whatever you want to call it, pretty well. Like, it's not so perfectly smooth that I can barely feel it. It is a bit of a sharp line here, but I've seen way worse. This is actually reasonably well fitted. Not the greatest finish there, but it's all right. It's pretty decent. Like, the good thing about that is it allows you to actually slide the hand and change grip. It's a bit uncomfortable. Like, if you run your hand over that repeatedly, that can definitely get abrasive. But overall, not too bad, really. Now that's a whole different story. To be fair, the fit here looks pretty good. If you look at what remains of the wood, there's no gaps between the wood and the metal socket. They could have just half-assed it and filled in the gaps with glue. So I think the issue here is not so much the fit, but more how shallow it is. It did not go into the haft very deep at all. So if the wood went much deeper into it and had more than one pin to secure it, to distribute the forces a little better, that would work much better. Now, there are plenty of historical spears that had only one pin that didn't break off immediately, but they generally go much deeper into the socket. And then this, let me also try to give you a better look at that. And see, there's quite a lot of hot glue in there, which is not a good sign. I mean, it's fine to use glue to fill in some gaps if you can't fit it 100%. Epoxy would be a proper choice. Hot glue, not so much. I do not like how the tang is shaped, or the transition from the blade to the tang. Not only is it close to a 90-degree angle, the shape is also really sloppy. On this side here, they didn't make it even, which I could forgive if it cost $150, $200, but $619 US dollars, by the way. That's 877 Canadian. That's quite a hefty price tag, even considering inflation and all that. And then the blade, it looks good overall. It's just, as I said, pretty dull. And also, even though it doesn't spell out what steel is used, there's 1060 in the title. So that's got to be 1060 high carbon steel, which is unremarkable. There's nothing special about that. It's not some kind of super steel. 1060 really shouldn't cost all that much, right? So I do not know where that price is coming from. It seems ludicrous to me. And here, the bronze cast is not fantastic either. I mean, yes, it is a fairly complex shape, pretty cool design and all that, but as you can see up close, the finish is pretty rough. So I really don't know where that price comes from. And this is another thing to learn here. You get what you pay for is generally true, or should be true, unless the price is just jacked up. And I think that's kind of part of the problem. Some makers have learned that, people think that the more expensive something is, the better the quality. Well, okay, what if we just jack up the price? Right? Now, that's my interpretation. I don't know. I can't read their minds. I don't know what the thought process is behind this, but it's hard to not be cynical about that, So, yeah. I was hoping this would be good because it's interesting, right? It's cool. If you want to see me sharpen this and remount it and do some more tests with it to see how it performs and the thrust and all that, let me know. And if you do, you can try to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It doesn't seem to do all that much these days, but hey, you can try at least, or keep an eye out in your subscriptions tab, or just go to my channel page. I don't know what to tell you. Either way, I hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching, and take care, folks.